I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your Smackdown review for August 17th, 2012. This episode of Smackdown was taped somewhere in Texas. Okay, I did not see Christian on this episode. I did get up a few times and get some water and this and that, so perhaps I missed it if there was one, but unfortunately, for some, I guess there won't be any Christian jokes, and I didn't even see Ryback either, but I'm not complaining, really. Okay, so we start off the night with Del Rio. Del Rio comes to the ring and starts complaining. Yeah. And then Booker T shortly comes down. As you know, Booker T has called off the match between Del Rio and Sheamus at the pay-per-view SummerSlam coming this Sunday. And I'm like, huh? But that seems to be the case. Booker T has called this off because a gang of masked men attacked Sheamus, and that was apparently, by Booker T's admission, that was going a step too far. And I mean, I guess it is when you bring in aces and eights from TNA to beat up all your SmackDown superstar. I guess that is going a little bit too far, but anyways, he says you ain't got the #1 contendership. Del Rio's complaining about this, and he has spoke with his lawyers. And as soon as he says this, it's Chris Jericho. I don't know why, but Chris Jericho comes down to the ring, and he very almost monotonely says, "Would you please shut the hell up?" or whatever. So I was drawing blanks and question marks trying to figure out why Chris Jericho was in this segment, but he was. He says that nobody cares about you, Del Rio. And, you know, all of his things that he does every single week. They start exchanging some things in Spanish, because as you well know, everyone from Texas knows Spanish very fluently, including me. So, yes, they go back and forth, and the crowd gets some added fake cheers to fill in the almost nothingness happening on the audio. So, yeah, I hate that. They did that last time they came to Texas on Smackdown. I remember that. Or at least I thought it was Smackdown. At least it was about 6 months ago or whatever. The same thing happened. I swear, I remember it. I remember talking about it at least. Y2J starts talking about Dolph Ziggler. So, not only does Chris Jericho really have no business out there, I guess? I don't know. Now he's talking about somebody else who pretty much has nothing to do with it. So I'm thinking, in my head, tag team match, right? Well, Booker T obviously was thinking something else as the SmackDown general manager and comes up with his own idea. He puts 2 and 2 together, or rather 1 and 1. He says, here is Chris Jericho, and here is Alberto Del Rio. So for the very first time, we are going to have these two guys face in the main event. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Alright, so Cody Rhodes, he comes down, he's going to have a match. He says that he tried to expose the face, and he warns, or the face of Sin Cara, I guess I have to put that in there from last week. And he warns the children and the old people, they got weak constitutions, that they should look away, as he put something on the Titantron. And the WWE Titantron man, he goes on and shows this not funny picture of like a stupid-looking face with teeth, and he's saying that this is what Sin Cara looks like under the mask. I don't think anybody laughed at that, because I was trying to figure out what that was. You know, usually, like back in the day, when Chris Jericho made fun of Kane's face, it was funny, and he used actual people that we recognize to make fun of his ugliness or what he looked like under the mask, or people should get the Kane look, or whatever it was. Maybe it's some famous painting that I don't know about, but yeah, the crowd didn't seem to really get it either. Anyways, so it is Rey Mysterio versus Sin Cara. Now, they might have mentioned how this is important or cool or something, but they didn't do very much of that anyways. I'm not saying that Sin Cara is like, oh my gosh, Sin Cara finally with Rey Mysterio, but I mean, big it up a little bit. I mean, the commentators, you know, they gotta lie a little bit to make it seem important, right? I mean, they do commentate on Smackdown. Versus The Miz and Cody Rhodes. So, I like this match. I thought it was actually pretty good. Cody Rhodes is hanging onto the second rope trying to take the Sin Cara mask off, and here comes the 619, pops him right in the face. Rey Mysterio wins, and then The Miz tries to go for a post-match beatdown, and no, he gets the 619 of his own to go home with. Now, we have Tyler X and Kurt Hawkins. Oddly enough, dressed like the Quebecers. I have no idea where this is going. They wanted to show off, so they're going to show off by dancing. They looked like a combination between the Quebecers and the Heartthrobs, and I'm not exactly sure that's a great combination. They wanted to do something different, and they wanted to stand out. I guess that's their way of standing out. They accomplished that, but I don't know how big of a fan I am of flip-flopping stuff around. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be funny or something, but I don't know. I feel bad for those guys. I think that, you know, they could just be a tag team and be alright, but they're in the WWE now. Come on. Alright, so they're going against two jobbers. Where's Ryback? I have no idea. But Tyler X and Kurt Hawkins beat him. They double team him. It's pretty good, I guess. Booker T. There's a match. It's Caitlyn versus Eve, and whoever wins is going to be Booker T's assistant. Once again, I'm not really sure where that came from. I mean, I know that Eve tried to apply for the job and she was shot down because she was a woman and Teddy Long, but Teddy Long's already in the position, so what is Eve concerned about? I'm not really sure. It was cool to see Caitlyn. It was a little bit harder on her on the Raw review. I didn't mean it the way I said it, saying that she was pointless or useless or whatever. I was just saying that because we never see her on television. But since she's in Texas, that's her hometown, and strangely enough, we're both from Texas. We have the exact same birth date. We're not related, or twins or anything, I assure you. But, it was an okay match. Caitlyn looked a little bit timid in her actions, which, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't, like, give her too much, like, crap for that, because, you know, national TV audience, she's not out there very much, and, you know, she's relatively new to the TV audience or whatever, but that was just an observation I made, so I like her. I'd like to see her on television more, but, you know. Eve wins, so I guess she's going to be on the Booker T whatever. I didn't see another segment with this. I might have missed it somehow. Anyways, Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. And they had a pretty good match, actually, until Kane comes down, and well, actually, I don't know if he came down. I know his music hit, and then that caused a distraction. So his music at least caused a distraction. RKO. Randy Orton. My name is Randy Orton. I missed that great promo tonight. Man, I wish you would have said that. Alright, so Dolph Ziggler knocks down Chris Jericho. Knocks him down to size with a giant cart. He just out of nowhere, I guess he was hiding behind this cart, and Chris Jericho's like, boop, 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 and he just, bam, pushes against the wall, and I'm like, is he injured to the point where he can't wrestle or what? We'll get to that in a second. Cesaro and Oksana come out, they do the 5 different languages thing, and they start, the crowd, legitimately it sounded like, started chanting USA. And I thought that was good. That means that people are starting to hate on him. Yes, because I love Antonio Cesaro, and I think with this 5 languages thing, you can get a lot of people to hate him. And I mean, he's really good in the ring, so I'm excited about that, and I hope that he wins the championship at the pay-per-view, but one can only dream. Alright, so, Santino Marella is actually on commentary, and, he is going to face, Cesaro is going to face Zack Ryder, and Zack Ryder gets a humongous pop, so that was cool, I guess. People still care about him. Can you believe it? But anyways, they have a pretty alright match, and Cesaro wins, so hope Cesaro wins at the pay-per-view. Now, Y2J versus Del Rio, apparently Y2J wasn't too injured to have the match, and kind of he didn't really sell the fact that he got demolished by a giant metal cart. But, what can you say? They had a pretty long match. The Walls of Jericho was applied, and Del Rio, you know, he looks like he's going to tap or whatever, but he doesn't. I notice how the camera guy turns around and starts filming the entranceway, and I'm just like, wow, guy, good way to give it away. And he did it like a bunch of times, or he was standing there like I don't know, for minutes, just like this. You had like a camera guy close to the ring, and then the guy like further down the ramp, like waiting for someone to come out, you know, and it was just way too obvious. So eventually, Dolph Ziggler comes out and he pulls down the ropes. Y2J falls down, so finally, after falling out of the ring and seeing Dolph Ziggler, I guess he remembered that he was hurt before and starts really being like, oh my god, I'm so hurt. Cross arm breaker and all. Well, actually, that was later. Yes, because of that, Del Rio gets the pin and wins. And I'm like, what? No cross arm breaker? But ho ho ho, no. Cross arm breaker is applied after the match, and Dolph Ziggler taunts. This causes Sheamus to run down in his street clothes, and Del Rio grabs him by the nose. I don't really know why, but he's like, I got your nose. And Del Rio starts running through the crowd, and I really liked the end segment. I really thought that they executed it well. It was excellently executed. I don't know. It was executed pretty good, and I liked the ending segment or whatever. I think Booker T comes out, and they're going to, like, reinstate the match. Sheamus wants to reinstate the match, and I just thought it was weird they used the word reinstate the match. I mean, don't you reinstate wrestlers? I don't know. It's just weird verbiage, I don't know, to me. But anyways, they end up making the match happen at the pay-per-view. I didn't write down that's what happened, but that's the only thing that makes any sense, to be honest. But a good ending segment, I guess, for Smackdown. And yeah, that was Smackdown, and it was pretty alright, I guess.